Let me ask you this. Can you tell, based on the numbers where you look at and the cap thing, is there a position group or two that Andrew Berry seems to value as he kind of builds the cornerstones of his roster?
Yeah, so you can tell with certain areas. So like he loves putting lots of money in the edge room, but puts very, very little in defensive tackles and linebackers. So it's where you would expect. The modern NFL is about the pass game, so you don't really need linebackers, you don't really need defensive tackles. They're not big difference makers, whereas putting money in corners, putting money in edge rushers is really, really important. They've put a lot of money in the offensive line. Will that change over the next few years? It's going to be really interesting to track that. But there's a lot of money been invested there, and they are big spenders in tight end. And they have been all the way through. And that's some really interesting stuff. One thing that shocked me is the modern NFL is so pass heavy, they haven't committed that much in wide receiver. So certainly keeping an eye on it. Their wide receiver core just isn't good enough. If you're talking about the Bengals, you've got 3 really, really good wide receivers. If you're talking about the Tampa Bay, they've got 4. You've got Julio Jones, Russell Gage. They're probably both better than Donovan Peoples-Jones. So Tampa's got 4 wide receivers better than Brown's number 2 wide receiver. So while there's a lot of young promise in that room, it needs to step up and get a lot better if we're going to talk about perennial postseason competing for Super Bowls. You can't do it with the wide receiver core we've got at the moment.
Yeah, that would be the area you look, because you're absolutely right. Passing league, so the edge rushers are the guys that pressure the quarterback. The cornerbacks are the guys that cover the wide receivers. The quarterback, which we know he's the guy that throws the ball, so the wide receivers are kind of that missing piece.